Class, glamour, white-collar crime. This costume embodies all of those characteristics. No longer must you be a weenie whose Halloween costumes are failed attempts at being sensual or, God forbid, clever. I'm gonna hold your hand when I tell you this, but you're not goated with the sauce enough to pull off some of these costumes. You can't be a swaggerless Benjamin Franklin. You're going to look like that Yakubian from the Quaker Oats box. Maidenless. Don't listen to your friends, okay? They know nothing. One of them is gonna dress up as a hot version of that white from the bear, for Pete's sake. Okay, let me calm down. With this DIY tutorial, you can hide your bodily insecurities while also flexing to the public. That's right, I'm infinitely more creative than you, which makes me more valuable. Here's what you'll need. First, go to Michael's, Target, Walmart, wherever, and buy or shoplift these supplies. A 20 by 30 inch black board, or one of similar rectangular dimensions, ideally foam. You might have to wrangle this out of the hands of a kid who needs it for a B- science project. Tough luck, kid. Welcome to America. A standard pencil. They're not made out of lead, FYI, so tragically they can't be used as weapons. A white-colored pencil. Finally, it's of use. I call this one Larry Bird. A ruler. I did not have one, but still, I persisted. Acrylic paint. Look at these handsome, thick fellas. Perfect posture. At ease, gentlemen. An X-Acto blade. Perfect for performing unlicensed surgeries on your stuffed animals. Gorilla Glue. Oh, somebody's losing brain cells today. A headband. Preferably something with Velcro. Crusty and miscellaneous paint brushes that don't even match. They look like the cast of Glee. And, finally, some scissors. Now, I'm going for the Times Person of the Year magazine cover, because I like the juxtaposition of an over-the-top pose with such a formal honor. But you can really do any costume where your face is sticking through a board. You can do People's Magazine's Hottest Person of the Year, or... oh, a tabloid magazine! I'd do the National Enquirer, because it's just so classy. It's rare for a publication to actually make me regret ever becoming literate. For Time magazine, you must create a red border with a smaller white border. This Mark Zuckerberg cover was my inspiration. His vacant gaze is truly mesmerizing. Measure about an inch into the board with a ruler. And for the white border, create a mark that's about a centimeter from the first line, using the white-colored pencil. Like I said, I didn't have a ruler, but I improvised. I adapted, I thrived. Continue marking the boundaries of the red and white borders along the board with the white-colored pencil. It should resemble a sort of sad road, one you'd commit a hit and run on. You look around and no one is there to witness this crime. Just keep driving. You'll have to answer to God one day, but for now, no one will know. Who cycles at night anyway? Perverts, that's who. Then simply connect the marks. Next, outline the text at the top of the magazine. Use a regular pencil for this, okay? Because you'll probably mess up the first go. Don't lie to me. It's okay. I messed up too. I can't believe one of my mistakes was caught on camera. It's fine, I'll punish myself later. In order to ensure the letters are of uniform size, try and make sure the bases of all the letters are on the same horizontal line. Does that make sense? Yeah, you'll figure it out. Take this time to think of what pose you want to do. Something fierce, or perhaps gentle, soft. I wanted something classy, bordering on tacky, so animal print was a must. Measure out the length and width of your face. I just made a mark on the X-Acto knife package. And then figure out where you want to place the face cutout. I recommend that you place it towards the center of the board so it's easier to balance. You have to consider where your face would naturally be positioned based on your selected pose. You don't want this magazine cover to look like a funhouse mirror. My pose is laying down, propped up slightly on my right arm, so my face would be towards the center right of the board. Realistically, unless you have an abnormally tiny face, you're only going to be able to fit so much of a proportional body onto the cover, so get creative with your pose. I recommend this one if you're good at drawing toes and want to get kicked out of your office's Halloween party. I'm trying to go for the laying on a rug in front of a roaring fire look, clinking wine glasses together. Mine is filled with red-flavored Gatorade. If you want the posture to be anatomically correct, I suggest using a similarly posed photo for guidance. Now time to whip out the X-Acto blade. Begin carving out the face hole. I recommend making the opening slightly smaller than the outline. It's just a lot easier to make the hole larger if necessary, because if the cutout is too big, the second you put your face into that board, it's going to turn into a stockade. Just stick your face in to see how it fits, and oh, would you look at that? A perfect fit. Well, not really, but the size is sufficient. Now for the hair. I wanted a mane, flowing locks, but not that much because I'm bad at drawing hair. Wind is blowing. 20-inch Remy. Getting spell prod! fresh off a Southeast Asian scalp illegally acquired. The bigger the hair, the closer to God. Now it's finally time for some paint. This is the color red, or rojo, as the Spaniards say. What a silly people. I do support them taking naps in the middle of the day, though. Civilization peaked with that. Now onto the skin. I'm mixing in white, a Dijon-colored yellow, and some brown paint. I would recommend using your foundation as a reference to get the color right. And if you don't use foundation, I don't know, steal some from your sister or mother. This shade did not match my skin whatsoever. I am a light brown, a caramel, some might say. This skin tone looks like I have jaundice, but it's okay. It's fine. It's okay. It's not that big of a deal. Okay, no, I can't stand it. I can't. I did repaint this section later. The second shade that I used just looks like day-old latte drippings, but at least it was closer to my natural skin tone. I couldn't be out here looking like an attraction at the fair, or one of those boardwalk monstrosities. This is a dignified costume. Oh, who am I kidding? Those attractions are actually so cool. They are the pinnacle of American culture. If you've ever served in the armed forces, this is what you were getting shot at to preserve. It ain't Yosemite. Now it's time for the hair. I'm going standard brunette. I am a brown-haired supremacist. Okay? I mean, I like platinum blonde hair because it's very villainous. Also a bald head. Scratch that. Bald head with a rat tail. That's diabolical. All this painting has me feeling French. I want to buy a pack of cigarettes for an elementary school student and start aggressively shrugging. Now, because this is acrylic paint on a weirdly textured surface, you gotta double layer it. Schlack it on like vaudeville makeup. Make the foundation layers and whatever happened to Baby Jane look subtle. Now onto double layering the hair paint. I've decided to give this bad boy an ombre. Is it going to look good? Probably not. I can't blend for crap. Now paint in the fur. I'm going for a classy leopard print. I like those creatures because it's thanks to them that some gazelles look like they've ended it all. It's best to get a reference photo. Most of these coats have layered colors, so I gotta add some white. I feel like the casting director for The Wire. Now sprinkle in bits of black and brown. Now I feel like the casting director for The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Can you believe my career in comedy failed? Now one must layer the hair again. Oh my gosh, I didn't realize how much work this costume was going to be. I hate having to flex my creativity. Why has God burdened me with such immeasurable talent and an ego of comparable size? Now that the paint on the fur has dried, double that paint up. That joint has to be half an inch thick. I'm adding some dark roots to this hair. Again, is this working? I don't really know, but I've already started. So much of art is just mistakes that you have to commit to. Did you know that Michelangelo's David was initially supposed to be a self-portrait, but he made the muscles too jacked, and even he knew he wasn't going to be able to pull that off. I painted the bottom of the outfit in like a darker brown blend color and forgot to record it. Whoops. Now onto the white outline. Using a tiny brush, fill in the white border. Then just fill in the white letters at the top of the magazine cover because you probably already squeezed out a lot of white paint. Then you go back to painting in the gap between the red and white border with red paint, because perfectionism is just masochism in disguise. By the time that I was double painting the white outline and white letters, my sanity was beginning to slip. Why did I even decide to do this costume? Why must I need a costume that is so insufferably specific? Do I need the approval of strangers that bad? I deserve to suffer. I need to be punished for my hubris. I'm contemplating violence. Oh, okay, well, I'm done. I don't know what came over me. Now that the paint has dried, it's time to add some skin details. And oops, I messed that up. Well, just cover that up with more paint. It's similar to when people doing community service just paint over graffiti of slurs and gang symbols. Layer up the necklines. I'm trying to appreciate this period of my life when my neck skin is tight. Now onto the leopard pattern. You can afford to be messy since it's just Mother Nature, baby. She's a negligent parent. Using a darker brown color for the spots, the large spot patterns can be created by making a sad petal shape like a busted sunflower. The bottom layer's leopard spot pattern needs darker paint, so I'm just mixing in black with this brown. This is a grotesque color. It's actually making me angry. I wanted to add more texture, so I added some darker sections to the leopard spots. Oh yeah, it's all starting to come together. I'm an artistic genius. The center of the spots just need to be a lighter shade that won't blend in with the background. I'd suggest using a bit of orange if you have the color. Wait at least an hour for the paint to dry completely, and when it's fully cooked, take a headband or anything that can really be tied around your head for stability. I prefer Velcro for this because my tiny little phalanges have already been through enough today. I don't want to be tying knots behind my head with fabric. What am I, a milkmaid? Cut this bad boy in half and use Gorilla Glue to stick both sections to opposite ends of the cutout on the back of the board. Again, Velcro is easier, but like any cloth headband you can tie will do. Stick in your head for a final test run, and yeah. look at that. You can pad the inside of the face cutout if it's uncomfortable, using some painter's tape or anything that will just really soften the inner side of the board. And voila, take a photo shoot. This one was done before I did the repaint, so yeah. And now you're ready to run the streets and confuse the elderly of whatever town you live in. Thank you for watching. Shout out to my top patrons. If you would like to donate to my Patreon, then click on the link that's on screen or in the description. I upload new videos there pretty much every single week, and I've like 3 years of back catalog, so check that baby out. And thank you to my other lovely patrons. Your names should be scrolling on screen as I speak. Bye!